going on, everyone? It's Danny and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be doing another Friday. Yeah, we're going to be reacting to 4 videos by Wancy Entertainment. The channel will be linked in the description below as always, and I'm trying to be quiet because I'm back at my dad's house, and my room in here is like is like very echoey, and my dad is like in the living room. I don't want him to hear me. I don't want to be too loud, so we're gonna try to be as quiet as possible while doing this Friday. But yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe to Wancy Entertainment and also subscribe to my channel. Like the video, blah blah blah. Let's just get started. The first story is called True Apartment Horror Stories Animated. So yeah, this original video will be in the description below, as along with Wancy Entertainment's original channel. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
I am in my mid-40s. This is what happened nearly 20 years ago. One day I visited one of my friends at his apartment, which was very old and shabby. There was an entrance to an elevator in the center of the corridor. I can't remember well, but my friend lived in unit 701 or 801 on the 7th or 8th floor. So looking at the apartment building from outside the main entrance, his house was on the far left end. One summer day, my friend said he was alone and didn't have any plans, so we called 2 of our friends and had a drinking party. The 4 of us had been drinking since the early evening, and just before passing out, we all lied on the floor, turned the lights off, and started talking. While talking to each other, a beam of street light entered through the window and was shining on the ceiling. I guess the street lights on the first floor of the apartment complex were on. Of course, we were talking while gazing at the ceiling. All of a sudden, the white ceiling turned black, as if something covered up the light. At that moment, we looked out the window while crouching down. Someone with a creepy vibe was hanging on a steel bar outside the window.
What?
Since the light was shining from behind that person, we could not see his face clearly. Then, after making an unidentifiable gesture, he smiled, showing his white teeth, without making a sound. We were so shocked at that moment that we stopped talking and were frozen with silence. Suddenly, one of us picked up an empty bottle of wine and ran toward the window shouting, "Kill that bastard!" But the creepy guy had disappeared.
Is that Venom?
After a few
I think that was
minutes,
Venom.
we went out of the apartment to see where he had gone, but we could not find him. We could only hear his stomping footsteps and assumed he entered the corridor and went down the stairs. Going down the stairs is the only way that stomping sound could be made. It sounded like he descended to the first floor and was walking around, so we followed down the stairs looking for him, but quickly returned to the apartment, still filled with fear. At first,
Filled with fear, but yet you guys still have smiles on your faces. Well, except this guy. He looks pissed.
we thought it must have been a robber or some crazy guy laughing in front of the window. But when we came back to our friend's house, we were all shocked. The distance between the end of the corridor and the window of our friend's apartment was too long for someone hanging onto the steel window bar to jump across. Only a crazy person would try and fall to their death. Ordinary people can't even hold on to the steel bar. We thought that maybe someone had committed suicide by jumping from the roof of the apartment and cut the steel bar while falling. So we went down to the first floor to see if a body was there, but there wasn't a single trace. After that experience, I never visited his house again.
Yo, that monster thing looks so freaky. But again, it still gave me Venom vibes, so yeah, I don't know how to feel. Do I feel freaked out, or do I just feel laughter. I don't know. But nonetheless, that was pretty spooky. Let's see what the next one's about. Alright guys, so the second video, it's by Wanty Entertainment. A creepy guy breaks into my house. Horror animation. So yeah, I don't have anything relatable. I'm just like the last one. I've never seen a venom-looking monster outside my window. And a creepy guy has never broken into my house before. I hope both those things never happen. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this.
I am a 19-year-old male, and this happened many years ago, when I was very young.
What's up with your voice?
To give you an idea of the layout of our house back then, the living room has multiple windows that directly look out onto the back garden.
Call of Duty,
There's a big gate in our driveway to stop anyone from getting in. Next to the living room is the kitchen, which also has more windows, but also the back door. This will be relevant to the story.
I like how the narrator is just explaining his whole layout of his house while in that creepy, quiet voice. Like this, like, my house is a 2-story house with a back door and a gate. Bro, his voice made me want to fall asleep.
So my mother was completing the household chores as she does one day. I was sitting in the living room watching television on the sofa with my back to the living room windows. All of a sudden, I saw a figure reflecting off of the picture frame hanging on the wall opposite the window. I asked my mom if my dad was back from work, to which she said no. I'll never ever forget the look of horror on her face when I told her that yes, he was. He's in the garden. She looked outside the window and almost had a heart attack when she saw a scruffy looking but fairly built man outside the living room window.
Jackson?
This didn't seem to faze him at all though. He psychotically smiled at my mother through the glass, and my mom asked him what he was doing on our property. He said nothing, with the same sadistic smirk on his face. She said that she was going to call the police, and what he said is one of the scariest things I've ever heard. He screamed at my mother through the glass that if she even got her phone out, that he would break the glass. She did not know what to do. She paused and tried to rapidly think of what to do next, how to keep us both safe. She wanted to protect me by calling the police, but she also didn't want him to hurt me if she did try to call them. As soon as he saw that she was terrified, he ran for the back door. Luckily, it was locked because my mom has always been a paranoid person, so she always locks the doors.
Well, yeah, I'd be paranoid too.
He screamed at her to let him in, or if she didn't, he'd find a way in and kill us both. My mother told him to fuck off, which enraged him, and he pulled out a pocket knife and began bashing hard against the windows. I was still oblivious to what was happening, as I just thought it was my dad. I was very young. My mom frantically grabbed me, and I don't mean picked me up. She literally grabbed me off the sofa and booked it up the stairs. We were backing up in the upstairs hallway, looking for anywhere to hide, when my mom's younger brother popped out of his room with his headphones on. My mom didn't even realize he was home, and he clearly didn't hear the commotion downstairs because of his headphones. My uncle was 25 at the time and was really well built. He's intimidated a lot of people. My mom cried and told him that there's a guy who's trying to break in. While she's telling him this, that creepy lunatic screamed from downstairs that he was in the house. He said cynically, "Boogeyman is coming out to get you." Boy, if you don't... Which really freaked me out. It freaked me out so much that I actually remember that to this day.
Really?
Anyway, since the guy didn't know my uncle was home, he kept yelling and telling us to come out and that it wouldn't be painful. My uncle told us to lock ourselves in the bathroom and call the police. We did, and after 5 minutes of groaning and blatant violence downstairs, the police stormed in and found the guy bloodied and my uncle on top of him, beating him mercilessly.
Yo, guy, chill.
My uncle really didn't hold back. Turns out that he was a known pedophile, which is why he was watching me for so long while I was watching TV. After that day, my mom was terrified to be home alone at the house. I loved it as a child because I found the running and hiding fun, obviously because I was young. I can never thank my uncle enough for being there at the right time when my mother clearly forgot that he was still home. It honestly gives me chills, wondering what he would have done to my mother and myself if my uncle was not there.
Oh, that's a good point. What if his uncle conveniently wasn't home? Bro, that would instantly be terrifying. Alright guys, so the third video we're going to be reacting to is called Someone Broke Into My Room and Attacked Me. Well, I don't really have anything relatable to say about this. I mean, my sister, whenever she feels like it, she busts into my bedroom and starts jumping on me whenever I'm asleep to wake me up. But I don't think he's talking about that kind of attack. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. In 3, 2, 1, play. True motel horror
A few
story.
years ago, I was driving from Texas to Louisiana to help my
Hey,
dad
that's it.
move
That's where I live.
when I stopped at this tiny, crappy motel right off the highway. It was very late at night, and it was the only option I could see. I don't remember the person who checked me in at all. I was so drowsy I could barely keep my eyes open. All I remember is sitting on the bed, kicking off my boots, and noticing that my room was connected to another room. I saw that the lock on that door was turned to the right, which looked like the locked position to me, and I fell back.
Which looked like the locked position to me. Boy! I have to check my door at least 50 times to make sure it's locked. I am so paranoid. Especially after this, if I was this guy, if I was just like this guy, and I didn't check, then whenever it's about to happen, I would be even more paranoid than how I am in real life right now as myself. If that makes sense. I don't know how to speak English, okay? Whatever.
Words and passed out on the bed. At some point, I turned my body and laid on the bed fully. I don't remember when or how long I had been sleeping. Then, I was awoken in the most terrifying way imaginable. A sharp object was stabbed into my back. I screamed and rolled off the bed. I looked and just barely caught a glimpse of what looked like a very skinny man with long, greasy hair run through the door that connected our rooms. I was taken to the hospital after I ran into the parking lot screaming,
Bro, I got the chills.
and the paramedic removed a letter opener from my back. I never returned to the motel, and I have no idea what happened or who it was.
Wait, the nurse stabbed you in the back? Bro, that reveal of that guy? Instant chills, bro. He looks so creepy. Alright guys, so the last video we're going to be checking out by Volunteer Entertainment is called Creepy Deep Web Horror Story. I am an avid non-supporter of the deep or the dark web. Because you never know what you're going to see on there, if you want to see it or not. I just don't go on there. It's not good, okay? So, kids watching this, do not go on the deep or the dark web. But let's go ahead and see how this idiot deep web experience was. In 3, 2, 1, play. Creepy _deep _web horror stories
A few
animated.
years ago, while I was in high school, the deep web was becoming very popular. I never really got into it until my friend told me about it because he was into that weird stuff.
Wait, hold up. He was just like the guy from the last story. So this dude got stabbed in the back and he's about to have a horrifying deep web story to tell? You have a lot of stories to tell to your ranted someday, my boy.
One day after school, I had nothing to do, so I went onto the browser Tor. I didn't really see much, so I called my friend over so he could help me out. Once he got to my house, we started searching more and more. We saw a lot of drugs and illegal weapons, stuff like that. Then he clicked on a link that was in a chat room, and the link said, "Watch this." As we're sitting there, we were just staring at the screen that went from black to the outside of a building within a few seconds. And out of nowhere, a sticky note that said, "Want to see something cool?"
Nope.
No.
So then I typed, "Yeah, sure." What was weird was the guy wouldn't type. He just showed sticky notes in the camera. And
Boy!
he also never spoke. All of a sudden, the camera started moving toward the building that it was facing. As we're watching him move toward the building, we noticed that the building was in our neighborhood. Then
What?
he quit moving and put another sticky note that
Bro, hold up. What are they? What? Okay. So they're watching a video on the deep web, and the guy is filming at filming by a building that's in your neighborhood. What if they didn't go on the deep web that day? Okay. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I think it's pretty predictable what's gonna happen, but obviously what's gonna happen is that this is kind of convenient. I want to believe it, but it's kind of fake because what if they didn't go on the deep web that day? Would the guy still attack them? I don't know.
said LOL. That kind of creeped me out. And then a person entered the building, which was eerily dark. The camera stopped at a padlocked door and then unlocked it and opened it. The camera moved toward the back of this dark room, and there was a dog bowl on the floor. Now at this point, the camera was
Bella?
only facing the dog bowl. A few moments
Is that
later,
what it said?
whoever the person was that was holding the camera put something in the bowl
Yeah, Bella.
that looked like just slop. Honestly, it looked like feces. Then you hear another door
Like the dude
open,
went to the
and a girl
bathroom.
crying in the background,
I ain't gonna say it.
along with a chain dragon. This girl shows up in the camera
Oh!
crying with a chain around her neck. And the guy shoved her face in the bowl and puts a sticky note in front of the camera that said, "Cool, right?"
No!
Then the screen goes black. We sat there for about 10 minutes in disbelief, but the stream was still live. Then out of nowhere, the camera was back on. Then it was in the corner of my street. Then another sticky
this is what
note
I'm
that
talking about.
said 545 East 99th Street off of St. Clair. That was my address. Then another sticky note that said "Open the door."
See,
We sat there confused,
What
then out of
if
nowhere,
they only didn't go on
a
the deep
knock
web
at
that
the
day?
door. I grabbed my
One
phone,
convenient thing after another,
jumped up,
folks.
and we both ran to the back door. Then we heard a knock at that door right before I grabbed the handle. At that point, we had someone at the back door and someone at the front door knocking.
Nope. Get
We
the
were
strap.
stuck.
Get the
Critical
bazooka.
thinking wasn't
Get
my
out of there.
strength at that point. We ran upstairs, called the cops, and locked ourselves in my room. The cops showed up, but no one was outside. Only items that the cops found were 100 sticky notes, all with my address
When did
written
you
on
get time to
them.
do all that?
I told the cops about the building with the girl, and they found it. The girl was 14 and had been missing for 5 weeks. We
Oh.
moved out of that house within a week. But
Good.
I will never visit the deep or the dark web again.
Let that be a lesson to you. Oh. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. Do not go on the deep or the dark web ever. It's not good. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap up today's Frightening Fridays. But go and check out on Wanty Entertainment's channel. Link in the description below as always. And because they put out some real bangers. Please go check them out. They're so good, so talented, and I had no idea how they get these much stories in only under a week. But yeah, guys, make sure to like the video, subscribe, notification bell, comment down below what you thought, or whatever videos you react to. But yeah, with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.